BGs, welcome to the BingeWorthy podcast, part of the Geekish Network. My name is Randy, and I've got an amazing crew with me today. My first co-host is Miss Courtney Scott Wright. Courtney, say what's up to the people, man. I didn't hear you.
You're on mute.
Hello.
There we go. There we go. Live television, people. Live television. And my next co-host is Nuke from the Ville. Ricard. So people know who you are, son.
Hello, Governor.
And bed cleanup. Chuck, tell them who you are, sir.
What's up, people? How y'all doing?
Oh, and we are the BingeWorthy podcast. The premise of our show is that each week we will binge watch a television series to let you know if you should. Today, we are going to be reviewing, don't make fun of me. I'm going to do my best, though. I'm going to follow up. Iwájú.
No.
So close.
No.
Iwájú.
Iwájú.
Iwájú. Man, I got it right on Geek Beast.
You were so close.
Iwájú, all right. And the premise of Iwájú is set in the futuristic Lagos, Nigeria. The series explores deep themes of class, innocence, and challenging the status quo. All right. What we do on our show is, at the beginning, we will rate the show using our unique binge-worthy scale. Then we engage in conversation. And at the end, we will re-rate it. So I'm going to call on my technical director, Rodney. Let us know how the binge-worthy crew rated Iwájú. All right. So we got a binge-worthy, and then we got 3-4 meals. All right. And that gives us, no, we shouldn't. That's out in that. I'm doing something wrong. All right. So it's 5, 3, 3, 3.
5-4-4, right?
Wow, 5-4-4-4, Randy.
I just said that to test y'all if y'all was paying attention.
Is that what it was?
That's
okay.
what it was.
Okay.
And that gives us a cumulative score of 4.25. So as of right now, we are giving Iwájú a full meal. So, BingeWorthy, let's talk about this. Chuck, I'm gonna start with you, man. Did we need this series and why?
Yes, I think we did need this series. I think Disney has fallen stagnant in the types of stories they tell. This is not unlike any Disney story, but it does have a different cultural slant to it. Most Disney stories do have a Western European lens to them. And that's like anything from like from the UK or America. Their take on stories, and it's including stories even in deep Scandinavia to stories in Asia to stories in Polynesia. They don't feel like they actually grasp and encapsulate the cultures of those places. They may make reference to things that are common knowledge, but they don't go deep into things. And for this animation team out of Nigeria, they went deep into it. So they brought in a lot of Nigerian to prove that Disney can make culturally relevant stories that can still be timeless. So I think it did need this story.
I like it, and I agree with you 100%. So, Courtney, I'm gonna transition over to you, ma'am. The cast is primarily of Nigerian descent. The actors, the voice actors. Was this a good decision, and why?
I absolutely thought so. I think that you definitely needed to have actors who could bring the way that they would naturally speak in Lagos. Especially like even like the little isms that are natural to the vocabulary. Like I worked on a play. I was an assistant director of a play, and predominantly two of the actors two of the characters were written to be Nigerian, and they had a dialect coach come in to talk to them about like the little isms and things that they had to say, like, hey, oh, like what you didn't, you know what I mean? Like the little things that come in at the end or at the beginning of each sentence. And every single character in Iwájú they had the natural flavor of the environment, of the native language. Like, it was just so fun to listen. And a lot of times I was like, oh, I might need subtitles because I don't know like what's happening.
I turned mine on.
I did. And just because, and I know it's animated, but even like the flavors of there were moments when they were dancing together, you know, like just like the little call and response that they would have in those moments were so lovely to watch. And I definitely think that having people who, or at least of Nigerian heritage, was integral to the show.
So I'm going to transfer this over to you, Rikai. Well said, Courtney. Well said. So I want you to, who is the audience for this series, in your opinion?
I mean, I think it's still a very children-centric show. You know, the animation style, the a lot of the theming and even the dialogue is I mean, it's a Disney Plus show. It's directed for children. The plus side is what Chuck was talking about, that a lot of times when you get a show of culture, it is still done from the lens of Western society, done from the lens of the colonizers who are writing the show. A lot of times they think is like, you know what, we'll make the people of color, we'll put the outfits on them that should be representative of the place that they live. So, you know, it's costuming. But then the dialogue and a lot of even the themes and stuff will be very Western, very Caucasian. You know, it's a lot of times you get stuff like that, and there's not even a black person in the room, let alone people who are actually from the area and understand the type of story that should be told. So I think
That are even black.
with this, yeah, that part. So I think this was a very good choice, and it's something that I would recommend to my kids to watch. I enjoyed watching it, and I thought it was, I think it was one of those things kind of like where all the hubbub was much about like Black Panther, where you knew that in telling a story, even though, you know, the source material is the source material, comes from Marvel Comics or whatever, but in telling the story that we saw on screen, that you got about as much blackness in a major Hollywood production as they gonna ever do in Hollywood. And that was something to rejoice, you know, the first movie anyway.
So
yeah, outside of Wakanda.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
So I raised kind of the question. You said it was for kids, and I thought as well too, but I thought it was a very mature like plot. They were kidnapping kids. And I know they ended up doing it in a, you know, letting them go, but like they were kind of child trafficking. And if this show is for children, was that plot a little too mature? So, Courtney, what do you
No.
think?
I know. How many Disney movies do girls get kidnapped? I mean, Rapunzel is legit kidnapped for like 16 years.
Okay.
I mean, so there's always some sort of like, you know, chasing kids. I mean, even back to like what was it? Escape to Witch Mountain, and those are little alien kids, and they're hunting these kids. Like that is, I think it gives an opportunity for kids to save the day. Spy Kids, you know, like there's people shooting at the little kids. Like it's unfortunate, but it's also like I said, an opportunity for the kids to have a reason to be the heroes and find within themselves the confidence to A, stand up, and B, lean on their own ingenuity and creativity. I do agree with you that the subject matter, given the fact that I think our collective adult knowledge is aware that young girls being taken from their homes in Africa is a current day like ongoing problem that happens. But the way that this was presented, in the sense of like, you have your big bad, like your kingpin character, who is looking to make a name for himself by kidnapping. I mean, Home Alone. The two robbers in Home Alone wanted to like break in to Kevin's house while the kids when they found out the kid was still there, that didn't stop them from still trying to like take over his house. They still tried to come in. But I think that it was the sophistication and the cool little like the lizard gave it that childlike flavor that similar Disney movies have also had in their mix.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can buy that. Go ahead, Chuck.
Also, Zeke, one of the creators of the show, he said that they wanted to bring awareness to the kidnappings. Boko Haram has been running rampant throughout Nigeria,
Yeah,
snatching up girls. Like they had the Chibok schoolgirl kidnappings, where 136 girls just disappeared.
yeah,
And we wanted to tell that story that kidnappings are a thing. And the world sometimes just turns a blind eye to it. And we want to think of it as form there's a solution for it. And there's a person here working on a solution.
yeah. I definitely agree with that. That's why, some ways, I did lean. I was like, this is kind of serious. Like these little girls are being kidnapped and ransomed off. But I guess that dealt with the sophistication of the storytelling for the
Mhm.
series that we got.
Well,
Mhm.
not only that though,
Yeah.
it's true to the region in which the story is being told, as well. And that's the thing about having writers from there, authentic people in the writing room who are putting together the story. Because it was also told in a way, it may seem grown to us from the Western world, because if we even turn on the news, we don't even pay attention to that, or there's nothing but drugs and shootings in the black neighborhoods. We don't even deal with a lot of that. Like, and this dealt with so much more than just the kidnapping. It dealt with
Mhm.
classism in a way that we
Yeah.
don't deal with it over here. So there were many themes in there that were dealt with very nicely, but they were true to the region. It's something that we as adults, I enjoyed it because it did seem adult for us, but it's simply because we don't tell those type of stories over here, at least not for children in a way that children can understand and be aware.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, and I don't know, maybe I'm desensitized to like kids action movies. But the elements of the class system really triggered me more than the the kidnappings that were happening. And the reason that he created, like Tundi created the Iwájú little lizard. The system, like the way that they were treating, the way that Bodhi was treated to begin with,
Yeah.
and then that happened in a flashback, and then the way that Kole was treated by Tundi, like the way he can't sit at the table and have dinner. She literally invited him to have dinner with her. It was giving me Killmonger flashbacks because I was like, I mean, I'm not saying kidnapping is right, but listen, the way you treated him, the way you talking to him, the way that the system is set up, you kind of set yourself up in this like hierarchy way.
Yeah.
But
On
that
top
is
of the
that is
fact
how
that
it's set.
on top of the fact that I think that it's rather interesting. So, Tunde worked for, whatever, the Amazon, the Apple of Nigeria,
Green
of
tech.
Africa, or whatever. Yeah. And so if he's successful making Iwájú and now this little lizard bodyguard for all these kids that get kidnapped, the sad thing is, the real thing is, capitalism says that none of the kids who actually need it are going to get
Are
it.
going to be able to afford it.
Nah.
Yep.
It's gonna
Well,
be
That
it's all
part.
gonna be for rich kids
Mhm.
Like,
Tola.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Totally. Yeah.
exactly right. Yep.
Go ahead, Chuck. You were saying something. Sorry, Courtney. I didn't mean
Uh,
to cut you.
yeah, I think it goes into the point of the story is that this is a classism story.
Yeah.
And the creators wanted to focus on classism in Nigeria. One of them never lived there. He lived in Britain most of his life, and he went back. He would go back and visit. And so the
Mm.
other two, one lived from Uganda and one was from Nigeria.
Mm.
And so they wanted to tell those stories. They wanted to be as authentic as possible. And they were like, yes, that classism does exist. We don't see it because we're not of that class, but you'll never have royalty invite the housekeeper to have dinner with them at the same table. That would never happen. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing in Nigeria.
And
When
we've seen
Europeans
that in
came
other
to
TV shows and movies and stuff before, where
Mhm.
the
Downton
help don't
Abbey's never going to have the help sit at the
right.
table
And
with
in
the
America, we
people.
would
Right.
have right. We
You-
would have
Well,
certain
that's
things in
why
America.
Downton
Yeah,
Abbey was such a big deal when
right.
Lady Sybil married Tom,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what
because
that
he
is.
was the chauffeur.
I
I mean, you brought
I've
up
never
Downton
seen
Abbey
it.
and you didn't even
Yeah,
know. That's
I
hilarious.
know.
But
All I
that
know
legitimately happened.
it's a show about the help, and they all are white, and that are the help.
Hilarious.
and
Hilarious. I love
it's
that you threw in
yeah, that's what it's
a
about. I know
quote
it's
that
about the
worked.
help. I knew it was about the
Okay.
help. And so you're never gonna have that. You're never gonna have the housekeeper of the Kennedys sit down with
Nah,
John
you're
F.
not.
Kennedy when he's a
Mm-mm.
kid and eat dinner with him.
Mm-mm.
It's not going to happen. So that's what this is about.
You
And
probably won't get that today in current times.
this Nigerian class structure has been in place since slavery.
Yeah. Elon ain't gonna sit at the table with his maids.
Not at all. Not at all. Unless he wants to sleep with them, which he probably does.
Maybe, even then, he ain't gonna sit at the let her sit at the table.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
So that's they wanted to tell that story, you know. And the lizard is a common thing in Nigeria that nobody really cares about or notices it. So
Oh, really?
that's one
Mhm.
reason they chose the lizard. Yeah, that lizard is common. It's like
Ah,
everywhere.
okay.
And nobody thinks about ever making it a pet. And Tunde's so out of touch with what's going on that he thinks kids are into that because he heard it.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Okay. I like it. So
Mhm.
Chuckla, let's stay with you. This is a animated series if anybody didn't know already. So what do you think about the quality of the animation and the art house style for
Uh,
these episodes that we got?
um, One reason Disney signed this group was because they threatened to compete against Disney. Um, the CCO Jennifer Lee, the chief creative officer of Disney, she saw a video, and these guys are like, Disney and all these other studios ignore our stories. When we finally going to put our stories forward, and we're going to do an animation, we're going to beat Disney. And she went to the president, went to Clark, and was like, "Hey, let's grab these guys. Why should they beat us when we can actually have them work with us and give them the best resources possible?" That sounded good on paper. And when
Mm.
I looked at the animation style, the animation is decent, but it's not Disney. It's decent for Disney television, but I wouldn't say it's great for Disney film. And one thing they have done very well with the streaming platform is put film quality into it. The colors are nice, the animation's nice, but they kind of cheapened it a little bit. And I think a lot of it has to do with Disney was not sold on this story and how
Hmm.
focused it was on another culture they truly didn't understand. Like, for example, listening to uh Zeke and the writer fight, you know, Lena, she's a black woman, but he's like, we wouldn't do that in Nigeria. And he would push back. He even told the actor, he even told the actor that played Kole, hey, if it doesn't sound like it came from Nigeria, don't say it. You have the right to correct them. And you should correct them. Because they're Americans. They don't know our culture like
Mm-mm.
that.
Wait, who did he say that to? Like
The
was there an
lead
American
actor.
director? No,
No.
but the lead actor to say it to who? If the
To
writers were from
to the
Nigeria.
writers, the writers are not from Nigeria. The writers from Los
Right.
Angeles.
Wait, what?
Right.
Wait,
What?
The
you
main
just
writer
said
of
that one was
the
from Uganda and one was from
those
Nigeria
are the
and one.
creators of the show. They
Those are
weren't the writers
showrunners.
assigned to them. Those were the showrunners. The writer assigned to them is Halima Hudson, and Halima is the writer of it. She's a black woman out of Los Angeles.
With
But
the
she's not
hair.
Nigerian?
No, she's not Nigerian.
She's not
She's
Nigerian.
not Nigerian.
It's a documentary. It's a documentary on, and yeah,
Yeah,
she's on there. She's got like purple hair.
yeah. She's not
Yeah.
Nigerian. No, no.
I didn't know that.
So they brought her in And she was a great choice for them. She was a great choice for them. But then again, she's not in. If you know anything about Disney, a writer doesn't write the show. A writer carries notes, starts the script up, and then there's 15 other people that approve all the writing. And you have to take the notes and make changes as they ask you to in order to get it approved. Approvals are based on compromises.
Okay.
And so he had to push back. So he told the actor, when you're recording and you're in the booth, if it doesn't sound like it's authentically Nigerian, tell them that you want to change it and tell them why. You don't have to accept this.
Halima Hudson, is that who you're referring to?
Halima Hudson.
Okay.
That's who they have as the writer of the show.
So she said there's times where she had to give in. She's like, I just gave in because it made sense. But she's like, I had to be explained to. Like, there was a scene where she talked about where Kole, the boy, called Tunde the boss. And then Tunde says, don't call me that. You don't call me that anymore. And he goes, yes, sir. And then at the end of the story, she thought she could close that loop with saying, now you can call me the boss. He calls Cole said, thank you, sir. He said, no, you can call me boss. And they were like, that would never happen in Nigeria. That one line would never, ever happen. That situation, once the classism so in debt to all the people, if I'm the boss, I'm always the boss. Even when you do something wrong. I'm not going to, out of anger, tell you you're not going to call me that. You're going to forever call me that. And so they had to make those changes.
So you mean like what kind of the other way around? You mean like at the end when Tunde had warmed up to Kole for helping him and all that, then he, told him you don't have to call me the boss anymore. And what you're saying is by classism,
it was the other way around.
That shit would never happen. Yeah, that's some American bullshit.
Happen.
I don't even know if that would happen here for real. That is some fairy tale bullshit for real.
Yeah, like
well, it happened in Lord of the Rings. When whatchamacallit, he said, you don't have to call me king anymore. And then he bows to him at the end in part 3. When Sam,
those are elves.
He literally said
those are elves.
Yeah, he was an elf, and he said you don't have to.
Aragorn isn't necessarily an elf. He's like descended of somebody, but
then he bows to them to demonstrate.
Yeah, but I mean,
humility.
That's Middle Earth.
They just saved the whole world from the bad guys. So
he just saved his daughter. He just saved his daughter. That is the whole world.
They gave him a pass.
That is the whole world. Is his daughter. Yeah.
No.
It literally happened.
But Halima said she understood that. She said it ruined her story, the story that she wanted to tell. But she understood that was important to them.
Yeah. And Halima,
because it has to be authentic. Yeah. I mean, because at the end of the day, we think that the story is for us. It's on Disney, it's for us. But we forget too that Disney is worldwide. And if you're getting a story told about a futuristic Nigerian place with, authentic Nigerian people and all of that, it's just like if you were making a record, if you're making a record for, you have to make it, your neighborhood has to rock with it first. The hell with everybody. Your neighborhood has to rock with that first.
What you just said there, Disney has never done. They've never done that. They made Moana. They didn't go to China and say, hey, y'all like this story? They would have been like, fuck no. That's some bullshit.
You mean
Mulan?
Mulan. They've been like,
Hawaii. No. They didn't go to Hawaii.
They didn't go to Hawaii and say, this is the story y'all want. They've been like, fuck no.
Yeah, but the circumstances behind them writing Moana is different than the circumstance behind Iwájú. You talking about this Nigerian animation house is like, we're going to put out our own stories. We're going to beat Disney. And then they get acquired by Disney. I don't know what's in the paperwork or whatever. They said, we got to be able to tell our own stories the way we want to tell them or whatever in the hell. Maybe that's there. Maybe it's not there. I don't know. Because for one, you can tell that whatever Disney thought about this or didn't think about this, they for sure didn't put no damn marketing budget behind it.
No, didn't.
And it's the second
project. Shit, I've seen better marketing from Girl Scouts than this shit right here.
This is the second project that's been primarily a black cast or African cast that they have not promoted.
You can't promote
If
what
y'all
you don't
didn't know,
understand.
this is the first project that Disney has done with an outside studio in the history, in the 100-year history of Disney.
No, I
Really?
didn't know that.
This is the
Hmm.
first project they've ever done with outside studio.
I liked the animation. I liked the way that they looked.
Yeah, I like the
I
art
mean,
style.
I liked the art style, and honestly, I like their complexions and their little hair. Let me just tell you, I want her
The
hair.
hair was done
I
really
want her
nice.
hair thing. I want to be able to wake up in the morning, put on that little cap, and it fixed my hair perfectly. I want
Listen,
that
that was
today.
fire.
Right?
Yeah.
I
I mean,
love
they
the
did a lot of cool
expressiveness
things.
in
They did a
their
lot of cool
eyes.
things.
I love whatchamacallit's eye. What was it?
Yeah.
I love their eye. They were big. They were brown.
I
They were
love
wide open.
them.
I love the expression
Yeah.
in their
Yeah.
Yeah,
eyes.
art style was great.
I thought the art style, I liked the art style too. I thought it reminded me, it was a very grown up, a better done, what is that? The Jedi adventures with the little
The
Jedi
Tales of the
young,
kids.
Jedi.
Yeah, the
Or the
young
young
Jedi
Jedi.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
It took that and said, okay, how can we make this better? So it was like a better form of that. Like, that's why to me it skewed little
Young.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's what I thought. Like, them ones that just come off of Coco Melon or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they even
It
still watch that? I don't
it's
know.
like I could see how they made some cuts in some of the animation, probably due to budgets. It had nothing to do with the artistry in it. The artistry in it was great, but you can see like we could have used a couple of cycles on a couple of things that I noticed. They had an all-star cast. They brought in, I think, every powerful black person in animation in Disney onto the project.
Did it? Oh,
Like they brought
okay.
Marlon West in. Marlon West was the beast. He was the visual effects supervisor for Moana. And the reason
Okay.
Moana looks so good. So I bet you Marlon pushed as far as he probably could with the budgets they had for that. But they
Okay.
didn't know how this thing was going to do. And Disney knows for a fact that Middle America doesn't care for this type of thing. The majority of Middle
That's
America.
that's true.
They know that. They know
That's
that.
true. It's
yeah.
still
I think
Trump's America. I ain't watching
I think
this.
the one thing it had going for it was the tech and the fact that this Nigeria was, I don't know, it had some essence of Wakanda to it, given like the futuristic flying cars and the tech that they have. Like Tundi was very much like Shuri, like in terms of like how he was building and crafting, and Kole, he was clever and really, really smart, and he's the one that fixed Iwájú, which
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you saw that coming. But I do think that it's exciting to see that they're working with another studio
Did you name that
outside
lizard
of,
a Waju?
where was him? That was his middle name.
No, Waju's the name of the show is called The Future, right?
No, I
Yeah.
know, but the lizard, that's what they kept calling the
Did they?
lizard.
Okay, I didn't know they called the lizard
Yeah.
Waju.
I could have
Yeah,
swore they called him that too, but
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know they called the lizard Waju. Yeah,
That's
Waju
that
means
he
the
had his
future, though.
Iwájú form. Like
Yeah,
he had to go into his like Hulk mode, you
yeah,
know?
his Ija mode.
Yeah, his Ija.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Maybe I was confusing Ija and
Ija.
Iwájú.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I really
Uh,
thought that that's what it was. I was like, okay, that's just how you pronounce it.
Well, no, you're not alone because I don't remember if he had a different name. I thought his name was Iwájú too. Shit, I don't know.
I thought that was his little name. Anyways, in my world, that's his little name.
Yeah.
But
Jeez.
or her, I guess it's a little girl. I don't know. Anyways, but to your point about how, like, we were talking about, I think, who was it? Chuck was talking about how, they'll take other cultures, like Scandinavian, Frozen and what have you, and then they Disneyfy it. So I love that this studio came in with their already set up world and plan, and the essence, and was never lost. Frozen was lollified. Even Mulan was lollified. Moana is probably the closest one that retained some of her like Polynesian heritage. I mean, even Princess and the Frog, she that girl just American South, making some beignets. But Only thing that made her black was the beignets and Dr. Facilier's voodoo. But I love that this held true from the beginning to the end. I mean, the only aspects I thought for me which were problematic were like whatever the little Egypt, his little Egypt
Otin.
Otin. Okay.
Like, yeah, Waju's the
well, Otin is what
the
they call the lizards. That's what they called all the lizards. But that wasn't the little lizard's name.
That was the lizard's name. Otin.
That was all of them.
No, that's the Otin was the lizard's name.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, my point is they all had elements of Marvel isms, like, you know, he hulked out, and then Mrs. Happiness, she was just Misty Knight as a villain. Bodhi was Black Kingpin. like guys, what happened here? Like, can we stay away from I mean,
hey,
she
it's
even
all
had
in
the
the
same
IP.
arm as Misty. Like,
all in the IP. So let's talk about the villain for this. What do we think about it? Ricardo, what did you think about the villain in this?
I mean, you know, the funny thing is, I thought exactly what Courtney just said. I mean, it was Black Kingpin. And he
Kingpin
just didn't seem to.
He played whatchamacallit in the Daredevil movies. Whatchamacallit plays him. Whatchamacallit plays him. The guy Michael Clark Duncan.
Michael Clark Duncan. He's talking about Michael Clark Duncan from the Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
The Ben Affleck.
We don't talk about that one.
It's a Black Kingpin.
Talk about that one. I didn't even remember he was in that movie.
No, that's like, nah, bro. That's like talking about. That's like talking about Solo.
It was a Black Kingpin.
That's like talking about Solo in Star Wars. Nah,
it does exist.
It does exist.
It does exist. You can't take it away because you don't like it.
Listen. We have retconned that. We have been born again.
We cannot retcon.
And now we are back to White Kingpin.
But Black Kingpin is out there. He's a real thing, man.
Oh, God.
He's a real thing.
I forgot about that, and I was mad you made me remember it.
Yeah, I know Michael Clark Duncan played him.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying. It's just like originally Nick Fury was white. Yeah. I don't give a shit what nobody say. He's always gonna be Samuel L. Jackson.
He's always gonna be Sam Jackson. We're not going back to the white one. And just like, no offense, Michael Clark Duncan was not memorable for me.
I'm just saying.
Nope, he was just big as hell.
They attempted it.
As a matter of fact, all they did, they put John Coffey in a white suit.
That's it, man. That's it.
So anyway, the villain Bodhi, I don't know, you know, like the thing is he fit the trope and he fit the stereotype of a villain who in the hood comes off like a Robin Hood. He's doing things for people, but meanwhile he is effectively gutting them and doing all this stuff that's evil. Yeah. So, and he had to be exposed at the end, because nobody really knew how bad he was. And he's like a lot of rich people who come off like philanthropists and all this other stuff. Like he was the same way. He had this greed, and he's kidnapping kids for ransoms or whatever. And
yeah, you've literally become the thing you hated. You're doing the exact same thing.
So, but does that mean though that we're saying he's a quality villain, or we're just saying like, we're just like,
Nah, he's.
I don't know. I thought to me the most interesting villain was wasn't that Miss Happiness or whatever, Misty Knight. She was the most interesting.
I just thought she was cute. I was like, Miss Happy is.
She was straight Misty Knight.
But I think Bodhi was an interesting villain. I think he was one that we saw him grow up. We saw his story. And Bodhi realized that I will never be rich, so you have to take from them. and they're on the island, and that island does exist in Nigeria. And so I'm never going to have what they have. I have to take it. I have to be the man. And only way, and how I pay my repentance is I give the people around me that are loyal to me, that kind of worship me. Like everything about him was ostentatious. Like he had the jewelry on, had the rings on, and he mimicked people that were wealthy. And he was smart enough to be like a really good crime boss. And it was to the point where he wanted to go to the next level, and that was kidnapping. And it was kidnapping from wealthy people.
Yeah, from wealthy people. Yeah. Ain't no reason for them to kidnap poor kids, though.
Yes. And so the people around me will love me because I'm not taking their daughters. I'm not taking their kids. I'm taking these wealthy people, kids that take from us all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, you know, and that's kind of the dichotomy of a villain like that, where he didn't see like what he was doing to Cole and his family and all the other little poor kids around there. You know, he was using them and doing all sorts of evil to the people around him in order to get these paydays from the rich people. I don't know, just poor
Oh, he's
mindset.
definitely a villain. He's definitely a
I
villain.
mean, he's
Right.
definitely a villain. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
bad guy, but I mean,
Yeah.
really, in the grand scheme of things, he's a low level as bad guy. But I mean, it's a kids show, so I mean, it's not like I need him to be Loki out here. So
You know?
Courtney, we had 6 episodes. They were about 22 minutes apiece. Was that sufficient to tell the story that we got?
I think so. I think that the pacing was really, really well done in terms of setting up the problem, you know, introducing the characters, you know, getting to the resolution, and even the payoff in seeing like our little, what's his name? The little,
Cola,
oh no, the little lizard.
O-Team.
O-Team.
Even seeing him like get to Hulk mode, like it was real. It was still awesome because and it wasn't perfect. I think my favorite part at the end is that when they saw that the little head was still messed up just a little bit, because then O-Team didn't had a problem getting back to like regular body. So I love that it didn't just end up like, okay, I fixed it, you know what I mean? Like this, it had very it was very Big Hero 6 in essence, you know what I mean? And I really loved that the way it all unfolded, and I thought everything was touched on. Like even Tunde, when you saw his flashback when he went to go and have his interview to work at Green Tech. The only problem I flagged a little bit was when he went back home and he saw his friend who was the cop, and bro was like, yo, I haven't heard from you in 30 years. I was like, 30 years? I think you meant 20. Cause that makes him about 50. You trying to tell me this man 50? He's still trying to like prove himself? I don't know. But I give you 20. I don't know about 30. But I appreciated that they brought that back in, you know, to see the difference in how he was so just unaware, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought 6 was enough.
Okay.
I would like to see season 2.
Yep. And I was just about to transition. Ricardo, what about you? You think would you like to see a season 2? Do we even need a season 2?
I actually would like to see a season 2. I think there's more stories to be told here. I would like to see the growth of Tola, and what is Cole up to now? Like, has he grown? Is he more a mechanic? Is he on an engineering path or whatever, instead of just being
Do
the
they let him sit at the
family
table?
gardener or whatever? Yeah. Maybe he's a young intern for Tunde or something like that. That would be interesting. I think in 6 episodes, I think 6 episodes was perfect. I think I could have watched maybe 2 more episodes to get a little bit more into the world, but I'm not upset that we didn't get them or whatever. So,
I want to know if Cole's mom and Uncle G hooked up. They,
yeah,
if
because
he
it
got, you know
sure
what I mean? They looked like they were getting real
alluded.
friendly.
Yeah.
It sure alluded to that. Yeah.
She
She's like, I
started
don't know
feeling a
how
lot
many.
better.
A whole,
Yeah,
hey, she got
hey,
out the bed real quick and was kicking it with him. Like
She was like, "Oh, I got
she
this
wasn't
good
too
air.
sick.
Oh, I
That
got this
medicine
good
couldn't have been
air,
that good.
recycled air. Okay, I don't need this inhaler anymore."
Right? Yeah. She like, yes. So, Chuck, what about you? You got any predictions if there is a season 2?
There may be a season 2. I can see this spinning off into a bunch of different series. I necessarily don't need to be around this family any longer. I want to see more about Nigeria and the
mm,
things that happen in Nigeria. I think this story can end right here, and maybe the characters come reoccurring in another somebody else's story.
Okay.
You know, like they branch off. I don't have to see a direct story because we end up in the same place we get with the Skywalkers, where everything's about them and there's a larger universe out there. And I don't think people know enough about Nigeria to say, let's stick with this one family. I think we should actually travel.
Could we go to another country?
to
I would like Tunde to go to Wakanda.
But
I
that's
don't think
Marvel. Would
Tunde is
they even
gonna.
let him do
Yeah,
that?
they're not gonna let him do that.
I'm
Yeah.
just
here's
saying.
here's what I would like to see. I would like to see. I don't know if it's different animation houses or different whatever people, but I would like to see if we're gonna expand on this and do a season 2. I would really like to see a season 2 or something in a universe that came from Kazazimoto. That I would like to see more than this. I mean, this was good, but there were so many just really great concepts and some some groundwork for some interesting stories in Kazazimoto. So I don't know if you have the same people work on it, you have these people work on it, but I think there's more life and what could the possibilities could be from Kazazimoto than this.
And that's
This
another
was
Both
cool.
property
can
they didn't
both can
promote.
happen.
Yeah.
Why not
Yeah.
have both?
Yeah.
I mean, they're different
Yeah, I mean,
studios.
in a perfect world, yeah, but like you just said about what Disney does, I mean, I don't want us to have 2 more properties that get zero marketing, zero budgeting, and we're
I
doing a show about it, and people are like, I never even heard of that. Like, it's,
Yeah. I think a lot has to do with the Disney treats things like Netflix does. Netflix was not really big in marketing. They just turning that leaf to get bigger in marketing, but they were like, "Oh, we merch you on the service. We give you directly to the people that want to see your stuff." And I think they were thinking the same thing when this could be very big. This could work. But there's a lot of Disney. Like there's y'all have no idea how many shows Disney has launched in the last like 2 months. They have dropped a ton of shows and nobody knows they even exist.
yeah,
And I
I
just come to
just
realize Disney just doesn't merch their shows anymore.
yeah, I just watched when I didn't watch it. I just watched a trailer for a show that came out like last week, um, on Disney Plus. Some kind of it's called Renegade Nell.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I saw a trailer. I saw that. I didn't look it up, but I think I kind of might want to see it. She's a
Yeah,
pirate.
and I think and like
Yeah.
but it's like she got like powers or some shit. It's I
Hmm.
was like, wait, what? Yeah, there's
Like
some different
Yeah,
type
they
of
dropped
stuff.
like the Artful
Yeah.
Dodger, like the Artful
Pirates
Dodger.
Pirates of the Caribbean times
yeah.
Hogwarts or some shit. I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on there.
They dropped Wrong Gone Wrong, right? Wrong Gone Wrong, I think is one of Disney's best movies. Best anime movies I've seen in years. It's Pixar level good. Wrong Gone Wrong. They never promoted it. Came out in the pandemic. Nobody promoted it. I was like,
Hmm.
wow, this was
I think I saw
refreshing.
like one trailer for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe.
I saw one
It's such a good
because I
movie.
remember thinking the name was weird.
Wrong Gone Wrong. And it makes sense when you watch it. It's such a smart film, and I
Cause
think that's part of it. I think that is Disney is had took a very much Netflix approach. We merge it to the people that are more likely to see it. So we base it on your already viewing habits on Disney Plus, and if you're in that demographic, we'll merch it to you. I hope you see it. Can't hear you,
I,
Randy.
I just said it didn't come up in mine, so that's it.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I didn't even
But
hear about this
you have a
lady.
lot of Marvel and Star Wars in
Yeah.
your viewing strategy. You don't have a lot of children's cartoons, nor the black children's cartoons.
I didn't know they had. Do they got a lot of
They
children's
may,
black
they may,
cartoons?
they may,
Yeah, I
they
was like,
may,
they had them. I would watch them. All
they
right, so let's
may.
rewrite this thing. All right, we'll start with you, Courtney. How you gonna rewrite it?
gonna stay because I did binge it. I mean, I watched the pilot a couple days ago, and I would have watched it back to back if it was the holiday weekend. So, but I finished it yesterday and today, so I really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna stay.
Okay, good stuff. Chuck, what about you? How you gonna re-rate it?
I'm thinking about it and the relevance of this show and how important it is. I think I'm gonna go up to a binge out.
Okay,
I think I'm gonna go up.
all right. What about you, Rikai? How you gonna re-rate it?
I was thinking the same thing. Like I did binge it, and normally I really don't get enough opportunity to binge stuff for real, for real. But I did binge it, and I really don't have any major gripes about this. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the content. I did enjoy the writing. Chuck just said something very important, the cultural relevance. I think I'm gonna go up to a binge out too.
So everybody went up. So similar to what you all did, like I think we changed it up Sunday night, and I think I binged it like Sunday night and finished the last episode on Monday. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it immensely. I thought it was really good, and I agree with you all. It does have cultural relevancy. I just didn't think it was over the top enough to warrant a binge worthy. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it to anybody. I would watch a season two. I'll even go back and watch this season. I just didn't think it rose to that same level for full binge out for me. So I want to stick at a full meal.
Okay.
So, but I appreciate everybody. And it don't even matter what I think, cause it went up to 4.75, so that's gonna round it up to full binge out anyway. So my little vote don't even matter. I've been disenfranchised out here.
Your vote matters.
You matter.
My vote don't matter. Y'all still went up. It's all good. It's all good. So that brings it out to a full binge out. All right, good stuff. Rakai, you got anything to say before we head out, sir?
No, man. What are we watching next week? Because
Another
I
one I
think I
can't
know,
pronounce, at least right now. We're gonna do
Shura.
whatchamacallit. It's the one we were gonna do this week.
Ishura.
Ashura.
oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not the Bad Batch. Didn't the Bad Batch end?
I thought it ends
Or-
next week after.
Oh, it ends next week.
Yeah, it
Gotcha.
ends next
Yeah.
week. Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll end Wednesday, so we'll have to watch it actually that Wednesday for the final episode, because then we go on live that night. So, yep, okay, yep, that's what we're doing next week.
So okay. What are we doing next week?
Shura.
Shura.
It's Shura.
All right.
Sure. Yep, sure. Cool. All right. Courtney, got anything to say before we and welcome back, man. Courtney, took a little hot girl summer vacation, but she's back with the crew now. So welcome back, man. You got anything to say before we head out?
Geek out and good night. No.
Good stuff. All right. Chuck, what about you, good sir? You got anything to say before we head out?
Oh no, tune in on Friday where we launch Trek Table's newest season with the newest season of Discovery on Friday. So that's really big. Last week they did a recap show when we did their announcement onto the Geekish Network. And they're coming back really with the first episode of Discovery, the day after Discovery airs, which is exciting. And that's it.
Awesome. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
which would be cool because that'll lead it like Trek Table leads right
say that.
into Geek Beast, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
Yeah, so you can
that's a good
spend
back to
your-
back right there.
Yeah, you can
Mm.
spend your Friday night,
Mhm.
with the Geekish Network. Star Trek Table followed by Geek Beast. I like it. All right. So shouts out to Digital Click. Digital Click is our marketing and promotional company. If you need any help with your marketing and promotions, please reach out to Digital Click. Shouts out to Rodney, our technical director. Rodney does a great job with all our transition and putting up our overlays and all of those things. He's the best technical director out there on the internet. And shouts out to the BingeWorthy crew for being awesome, for coming back through. If you all don't know, the Geekish Network, we are the premier BIPOC channel. That's Black, Indigenous, People of Color. And we are amazing. We've got dope people in front of the camera, behind the camera. We've got a plethora of shows, and more things are coming. We're just now finishing up the first quarter of 2024, and be on the lookout for the amazingness of the Geekish Network. We'll be back here next week, Wednesday, with another fascinating show, giving you all our in-depth and scintillating opinions about the quality of those shows. So please support us, like us.
They're scintillating.
I'm like, scintillating, I'm
I
special.
know. I'm gonna tune back
Like
in just
us
for that.
on
We scintillating on that.
Facebook. Hit those like buttons on YouTube. We're also on Twitch. We are also on Instagram and all across the internet. So support us. Share us with your friends. Let them know. The Geekish Network, full effect. BingeWorthy podcast. Whole bunch of awesomeness going on. Until then, we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.